Give me the player that when you're having conversations about your favorite football team, the Washington football team, Redskins, Skins, Commanders, WFT. Give me the player that keeps coming up as a player that you think is going to have a big season. Look, Jaden Daniels is pretty much going to be uniform, but it's more of that sneaky, this guy, trust me, big season from him. Might be a breakout season from a player who hasn't had a great season yet. I'm going to give you my guy. I've mentioned him a few times. I feel like Deebo Samuel's going to have a big year in Washington. I think the fit is perfect with the best quarterback he will have played for and played with during his career, an outstanding coordinator, a creative coordinator. Not that he's not used to that, because he had that, obviously, with Kyle Shanahan. With a team that, likes to be dynamic, likes to be multiple, and I think has big ideas for him. It's a contract year for Deebo Samuel. He is capable of very high-level football. He is an absolute beast with the ball in his hands when he's healthy. It's impossible for one guy to get him to the ground. He will generate unbelievable yards after contact. I think they're going to try to get him the ball early and often. It's not a force feed a number one wide receiver deal. It's a force feed your best weapon deal. Deebo has a chance to be their best weapon on offense. He's got to be healthy, and he has been banged up. And the thing about him is he plays banged up, and he'll have more incentive to play banged up. Now, apparently he is reported in some of the best shape he's been in the last few years. I just think that this is going to make Adam Peters and company look really good. And by the way, create a really interesting offseason conversation about what Deebo is worth and whether or not you can keep him here rather than having him go to free agency. So Deebo is my guy. I've got other guys too. I've mentioned Daron Payne. I mean, I'm a big Daron Payne fan in terms of his talent. By the way, I wanted to mention last year when we did this segment, because I went back and looked at some of my notes, other than Jaden Daniels, my guy was Brian Robinson Jr. Before the season started, I was really high on B-Rob having a big season because of the quarterback. I thought, with a dual threat and a dual threat attack, that Brian Robinson Jr. would feast with Jaden Daniels as his quarterback. There were health issues. He had some games, but it was not the season, obviously, that I thought it would be this time last year. So I was dead wrong last year, with my Brian Robinson Jr. But Deebo's the guy. When I've had conversations, and many of them now, especially this time of year, about the team, I talk about Deebo. I think Deebo's going to have a big 2025 as a Washington Commander. Again, there are some other players that I've thought about, but nobody that I'm as confident, because offensively, I feel more confident about the offense than I do anything defensively. Feel more confident about Jaden and Cliff more than anything else right now. And I just think that they're going to use him in ways in which he's going to feast. It would be better for him to have a healthy and happy Terry McLaurin. I think he's going to have a healthy Terry McLaurin on the field with him on September 7th. I think that they will really impact each other in terms of, you got two players, two weapons on the field. Deebo's a unique weapon, though. Deebo's my guy. 301-230-0980. The guy you've been telling your friends about, this guy's going to have a big season. My guy is Deebo. Max, what about you?
So I've got a couple guys. They're all on the defensive side of the football, which is very
I want your number one guy.
All right.
I want you, and hold back the others, and if we don't hear them from
we'll
from
do.
callers.
Well, I know that this one guy keeps popping up on the callers, and he was the first guy that came to mind. And he's shown the ability to retool, get better throughout the season, learn during the season as opposed to going into the offseason, getting better, looking at film. He can do that during and throughout like a playoff run. It's Mike Sain still. He's just last year he was so serviceable and just the versatile. We could move him around, put him on the outside. Like he had to go up against Jamar Chase in week 3. So like his feet got put to the fire pretty early. And I think that experience is going to do him, or it did him some good last year, just being able to learn and grow throughout the season, as opposed, like I said, to just having to retool into an off season. So I'm going to plant my flag, and it's going to be Mike Sainristil still.
That's fine. I think you need to go further, though, if you're going to say Mikey Sainristil. I think you have to say Mikey Sainristil is going to be a Pro Bowl cornerback this year for the team. Because I don't think there's a lot of debate about what he was last year, and I don't think there's a lot of debate about how good he's going to be for this team this year. I think if you're going to choose, if you're having conversations with your friends and you're like, who's going to be really good this year? Sainristil. Because if I'm having that conversation with you, I'm like, yeah, he was really good last year too. But then you would say, no, I'm talking about this guy's going to be a Pro Bowl cornerback in the NFC. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's, if you're going to use Sainristil, you got to take it. If you're going to use Sainristil, if you're going to use Jaden, you got to take it to a point in which people aren't thinking about that. Maybe some people are thinking about Mikey Sainristil as a Pro Bowl corner. He had a very good rookie season. And the thing about Sainristil is quality everywhere. Smart, intuitive, instinctive. He has great communication ability. He's going to be a big-time leader in this league on that side of the ball. So are you willing to go to Pro Bowl level?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
With everything that Mikey showed last year, I've been really high on, like you said, his leadership potential and just that experience that he had at Michigan of playing receiver.
Will he do it as a slot corner or as an outside corner?
He'll do it as a slot corner. I think that one of the other guys I have on this list that nobody has mentioned on the calls yet is rookie Trey Amos, because everything I've heard out of his camp has been incredible. And I think he's going to be a really solid piece going forward at the outside corner spot.
Chad in Nashville, kick it off. The guy that you've been telling your friends about is going to have a big season. Go ahead.
Well, I agree with Sainristil. And of course, Deebo. Anytime you have the caliber player of Deebo in a contract year, you're going to get, you're going to get hopefully that type of play. I tried to think out of the box, and I had to, but you said pick one. Okay. I'm going to go Quan Martin. And if we got to go as far as you're saying Max has got to go, you know what? I'm going to say it. I think Quan Martin's going to be a Pro Bowl. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl safety this year. The caliber of teams we're going to go against is going to be, higher than last year. He's going to have a chance to show what coaches like in him. I think our front seven is going to be better than last year because it's also a second year in the system. Plus, I think Von Miller is going to help out the pass rush a lot.
I have a feeling he's going to also.
He is.
Yeah. I think he's going to also.
And if that's the case, your secondary should play better. Now, you don't have Jeremy Chin. Quan Martin, who's the guy they signed?
Will Harris.
Help me out, Kevin, from Will Harris. I think Quan Martin has a chance to be their best safety on the team.
So the other night, Chad, the other night, I had Johnny Newton on my podcast after the game from Foxborough, from the locker room. I asked him basically the question that I'm asking you guys. His answer was Quan Martin. He said, Quan Martin's going to be the guy that really, I think he said, shocks a lot of people in terms of how good he is.
Yes.
So I thought that was an interesting answer. That. Sometimes they don't answer that question. He immediately said Quan Martin. Interesting.
I didn't listen to that podcast, and I'm glad I said it. I wanted to say Luke McCaffrey, but that seems like I'm a little concerned. I was like before. I've been telling all my friends, "Hey, watch. They bring up McCaffrey because it's his little brother." I said, "No, watch. He's not going to be looked at. He was open a lot last year. He should get the ball more." But something's missing. You've talked about it before, and that's why I didn't bring it up. I'm 50-50.
Well, you did bring it up. So you just brought it up.
Well, yeah.
See, you snuck in your number 2 after Quan Martin. Good job, Chad. Good job.